Good afternoon. When I left the office last night around 6:30, it was to a scene of an absolute emergency outside Media House because we were right across the road from Spencer Street Station. There's a line of police vehicles and ambulances and fire trucks, and as the story unfolded, we learned that a young woman had apparently fallen under a train amidst a crowd on their way home from Ladies' Day, from Oaks Day at Flemington. And she was trapped there for more than an hour with serious life-threatening injuries. And miraculously, her life was saved, but to me it raises a lot of questions. I mean, was she jostled? Was she pushed by drunken revellers on their way home from the races? And you know, there were drunks, especially young women, all over the area, ignoring the traffic lights around 6:30, saw all that. The train platforms were packed at that time, so you asked the question, was there any crowd control? I mean, it's surely a recipe for disaster when hundreds of alcohol-affected people crowd onto train platforms, impatient to get the next train. Now, I want to look at those issues. I want to take your calls on 96900 693, especially if you were there. I want to try to fathom out how and why this happened. And on the line, the spokesman for the MFB, he was there involved in this with the ambos, etc. I want to talk to Mr. Wayne Garrard. Mr. Wayne Garrard, good afternoon.
Yeah, good afternoon, Darren.
That was an extraordinary situation late yesterday afternoon from 3AW here at Media House. We could see just a continual stream of, there were ambos, there were fire trucks, there were a lot of police vehicles. Obviously, this became a sort of a multi-unit sort of a rescue operation.
Well, it was a major multi-agency approach incident. When we got there, the lady who was aged about 30 was trapped under the train, in between the station or the platform and the train, and she sustained quite serious, horrific injuries. And our crews were first there actually, and the ambos weren't long after. So. The ambulance officers had to work very hard to stabilise her, and the firefighters assisted the paramedics who were on scene. So, it was quite a tense operation for about an hour.
Now, it would appear from what we've pieced together that this woman, one of the Flemington crowd, had been on the platform, somehow got jostled or fell, tripped, stumbled, and fell in front of the train. Am I right in saying she was dragged under the train? The train was moving, she was dragged and then jammed between the train and the platform?
Well, we were unable to establish that. We hadn't seen the CCTV. I asked Metro if they'd viewed the CCTV before I left last night, and at that stage they hadn't. So they'll be doing a full investigation into that, but at this stage the cause is still unknown, how she got under there.
Yeah, we had a caller from somebody who was there, a man who was near the platform where it happened, and he told us at 3AW that there was a big crowd moving along the platform. He said, I heard a scream, I looked over, I saw a woman fall as a train got to her. There was a loud bang, and then of course everybody in shock because there were hundreds of people there, of course, a very jammed platform, and lots of people crying, males and females. The sheer weight of the crowd and number of people must have made it very hard, and to be honest, Frank, the drunken condition of some of the people after a day at the races must have made it very hard for you people to work.
Well, by the time we'd got there and established everything, most of those people had gone. We worked with the Metro people and the Victoria Police, and they removed a lot of the crowd there, so they weren't actually hindering us at the time, but there was plenty of people who were looking from a distance, but not actually hindering us at the time.
Because police apparently closed platforms 11, 12, 13 and 14 to give you guys as much room to operate. You did also have a screen up there. The injuries this poor woman suffered, can you tell us more about it? Because I've read run reports. She had possible pelvic injuries, upper leg injuries, arm injuries and some head injuries. Yeah,
that's all correct. Yeah, she did have quite serious injuries, and they had to perform some emergency procedures under the rail carriage, which were performed by the Mica paramedics on scene.
So the Mica paramedics, is it true that at the scene, under the train, in that cramped space, they actually had to amputate that woman's arm?
Well, yes, they did, with the assistance of our people who were, assisting them with their procedures. Yeah, they did have to perform that operation.
It's an extraordinary thing. Was she, and obviously they stabilised her over a period of time, but was the woman conscious through most of this?
She was obviously, she had painkillers, but she was conscious, and the good thing about it, Darren, is she come out of it alive, and she's a very lucky lady to be alive.
Well, you've covered a lot of accidents and a lot of other disasters. I'm amazed, I'm sure, and a lot of other people are, to laymen, that she is alive. That she, I mean, as soon as I heard about it, I was sure that there's a fatality there at the station.
Well, that's right. She is extremely lucky, and perhaps when the full extent of what actually happened, we might be able to put together. Maybe the train wasn't going that fast. We just don't know at this stage. So maybe when they do a full investigation, we can work out exactly what's happened.
Yeah. Final question. It's not really your bailiwick, but are there safety issues with Southern Cross Station here? I mean, with crowd control, apparently there weren't many Metro staff there. You got heaps of people. You got jam-packed. You got people desperate to get out. They've had a day at the races. There was some arguing and scuffling for people who are insensitive people and stupid people because their trains were being delayed. Are there safety problems and crowd control problems?
We actually didn't have any problems there last night, but I believe further up the track where they had to stop the trains, they had problems up there. But actually at the platforms that we were at, we never had any major problems. The police and Metro assisted us in controlling the crowd. Yeah.
Well, from what you guys did from the MFB and also for the Ambos, it was a great operation. I mean, obviously a long one and a tense one, and working in very difficult, unsafe and dirty situations. I'm amazed that you managed to do it, and congratulations.
Thanks very much, Darren. We appreciate it.
Thanks for talking to me.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. It's Commander Wayne Garrard from the MFB. Now, as I said, if you were there, give us some calls on 9600 693. But on the issue of safety in general on our platforms, of course, Southern Cross Station, I'm told, is privately owned. So I don't think it's Metro's job to provide crowd control or safety officials there. I received one email from somebody who was there who said, I think safety at stations like Flinders Street, Southern Cross, Richmond and Flemington is very, very poor. These are some of our busiest stations where at times there are sometimes there are thousands of drunk people trying to get on trains. It really was an event waiting to happen. Just thank goodness it wasn't worse. I think a rail with gaps every 10 metres or so would or could stop most of the dangers.